Hello and welcome to Cavs Daily, your one-stop shop for everything Cavs related. I'm your host, Paul Williams. Appreciate you guys tuning in today as we are going over a lot of stuff from Cavs Media Day, which just took place, which means we are getting ready for training camp, which will be happening the same day that this video drops. So stay tuned for all the updates throughout training camp and as we count down for the season tip, which is now only weeks away. We also have the Cleveland Guardians starting their playoff series against the Tigers tomorrow. Guardians, of course, winning their 13th Central Division Championship out of only 31. Kudos to them. We'll be keeping an eye on that. But for now, let's dig into a little bit about what we learned from today's media day. And I can say we learned a lot, but we also knew a lot of the things that were talked about. Of course, there were a lot of good things that took place. And one of the things that really just kind of stood out to me from the very start to the very end, hearing each and every guy talk, just we have a lot of like team guys, good guys, like guys that are easy to get along with, easy to bring into a culture or to add other guys into a culture because of the characteristics and the character that the guys you already have do carry. So it was just like refreshing to see that, especially when you have dealt with the other side of the coin with certain teams you may follow or cover, and to see a group of guys that really are just genuinely out for each other, really bought into the whole team chemistry, team atmosphere, team first mindset that Coach Kenny Atkinson and before then Colby Altman and all the guys in the front office have been laying the groundwork for. You can really see that for sure. And it was even more obvious when new Cavalier Thomas Bryant took the podium and he talked about how much him and Lonzo both talked about how much it kind of took him back, how nice and welcoming everyone was, from the superstars to the deepest guy on the bench to uh, the team physicians. I mean, the organization just truly has something special here, and guys that come in, they notice it right away. And Thomas Bryant talked a lot about that. He also talked about what he could bring to the table as far as a 3-and-D guy that can knock down the open shot, but also can play defense and rebound and kind of just do whatever the team needs to do to win. He's not really worried about minutes or his role, but he's going to be there when his number is called. Um, I mean, that was echoed by Dean Wade and Sam Merrill and some other bench players as well. You can just tell that they really are bought in and just want to win, and they're willing to do what it takes to do that. And something Dean Wade said, being a superstar within their role is the most important thing for each and every player on the team. And it seems like the guys really took that to heart. So that was very good to see. Darius Garland, I mean, he's talking super confident. Like he doesn't think he's going to miss much time at all. Obviously, that's still yet to be seen. You just never know until the guy gets on the court, especially when you have bigger aspirations than just early regular season success. The Cavs don't want to rush him, but he did say that he's been on the court and can do everything on the court right now and has been that way for the past month or so. He wouldn't give a date to when he'll be back, but he did touch on the fact that he's already doing most basketball activities and he's not far away at all. And he's eager and raring to go for sure. Of course, there's a lot more said and a lot more takeaways that we'll talk about in the coming days from Media Day today. But I wanted to touch on real quick a few bold statements that were made from different Cavalier players, from Donovan Mitchell, pretty much flat out saying it's championship or bust. to, I mean, Evan Mobley echoing that, and Evan Mobley also saying things like, even if he's not getting the basketball or he's not having the game he would want to have, instead of shying away, he's going to go get it. Like, he was very clear and to the point. I'm going to go get it. That's going to be the difference from times he might have disappeared in the past and could easily kind of be phased out the offense because of all the firepower around him. He made it clear that mentally he's going to make a real effort to kind of demand the ball and be more assertive and aggressive when it comes to making sure he's getting his shots and his touches. Dean Wade said flat out, I'm one of the best defenders in the league. And while I don't know if I can necessarily like just right away jump on board with that, I'm also not gonna knock it or say like that's a bad thing. I love the confidence. I think you need that, especially when your main role is to just guard usually the other team's best player. You got to think like that. So I'm not mad at that at all. And Thomas Bryant was asked, would the Pacers have won the championship if Halliburton didn't get hurt last season? No hesitation, flat out yes, he said, and he sounded very confident when saying that. And that kind of lends to my point about OKC. I kind of agree. I think the Pacers would have beaten them, and I think because of that injury, OKC got a ring and all the accolades and all the respect they deserve as champion. But now I feel like it's tilted a little too far and they're a bit overrated. And you could tell Thomas Bryant kind of felt the same way, or at least had some of the same sentiments uh, as far as what the Pacers would have done if they were healthy against OKC. And I won't say that this was a bold statement or a bold quote, but Lonzo Ball, and he was dead serious, said he did not know that Cleveland had water. I love you, Lonzo. I've been a fan for a while. Definitely cheering for you. But come on, man. Like, you're in your late 20s. Your brother played high school basketball here for a year in Northeast Ohio. Like, what? Are we serious? I know you were already doing your thing in the pros, but just kind of a head scratcher to hear. But those were just some of the bold statements that stood out to me from Cavs Media Day. I will be going back through some of the interviews and some of my notes and talking about much more, and not just much more what the players were saying, but just the overall atmosphere and some of the tidbits that you were able to pick up on being there, some of the off the record conversations. We will dig into that a lot more as we move forward, but just trying to round everything up for you guys today. So, those were some of the bold statements that stood out to me just off the rip, thinking of going back and thinking through the day today. Another thing that stood out to me was just how much accountability each and every Cavs player took for last season's disappointing, upsetting, terrible second round loss to the Indiana Pacers. And while it's easy to give the injury excuse, I mean, it's valid in this situation. None of the players did it. Pretty much every single player took it on the chin and just said, like, we need to be better. They outplayed us. They made us uncomfortable. They put us in positions we weren't expecting to be in. And they just said they had to get better and they had to find a way to make sure that those things never happened again. Donovan and a couple other players flat out said they are coming into the season in the best physical shape of their life, and they will never feel like they're being ran off the court again or feel like another team is in better shape than them. Clearly, that was something that was a big factor in that series last season. So it's good to hear not them just saying it because it's easy to say the right things, but for there to be actions behind some of the stuff that they were talking about that they could have done better in that series. So hopefully that continues. Now, another thing that was touched on a lot that they took accountability for was their mental toughness. Donovan even said, I mean, it's kind of been the same thing for three playoffs now. Yeah, injuries, but also mental toughness just has to be better. That's not something that you can just go and do extra laps and be in better shape and fix it that easy. That is something that they're going to have to kind of find from within. They talked about using experience to build and learn from, and that is something that you can lean on to hopefully help with those mental hurdles that they have to go through. But that's something that still makes me a bit nervous because you never really know until they're in that situation again. So hopefully, I mean, with this group of guys, I do have confidence they'll figure it out. But again, you just never know until you're there and in the trenches and in those tough moments when you have to show that, yeah, I am a different player, or this is a different team. We're not going to fold this time. We're not going to have three turnovers in the last minute of a playoff game, trailing 1-0 in the series and having a 9-point lead with a minute to go evaporate because we kind of just fall apart mentally. That's something that they know they need to work on, and it does seem like they're doing everything they can to work on that. Seemed like the players were a lot more willing to recognize that and take that on the chin than Kobe Altman and Kenny Atkinson in their previous press conference. But either way, it was good to hear, and hopefully they can build on the things that they've been working on to make sure we don't go through those things again. And to wrap up today's episode, just want to talk about another theme that was pretty heavy and talked about by many different players. Not maybe directly, but it was part of an answer, and you could easily kind of read the tea leaves and see what they were trying to say, especially spearheaded by a lot of what Donovan Mitchell talked about. But I think the Cavs are trying to find the balance of continuing to look for regular season success like they did last year, but also kind of approach the regular season like the LeBron Kyrie Cavs approached it, where we're not really that worried about being the number one seed or winning every night in December and January. Let's use these games and these situations to build for the playoffs and for when games really matter. Let instead of Donovan Mitchell taking over the last minute or two of a close game, let Evan Mobley do it. Even if he misses every single shot and we lose that game, I think we could get way more value out of him going through that and having that experience. And I'm really hoping that that is the mindset that Kenny Atkinson and the players take into the season. We don't want to sacrifice wins by any means. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there's also, like Donovan said verbatim, he doesn't care if they're the first or the last seed into the playoffs. As long as they get in, he's confident they have a chance and they could win a championship. And that was always LeBron's mindset, except for they actually stood on that during the regular season. You could tell that they sometimes didn't really care about it that much. And I'm not saying that's what I want this Cavs to approach the season like. I do want them to care every single night out. But if there are times and windows during the regular season where you can do something that might not be optimal to get a win in that moment, but could set you up to be much better off down the road. So, like I said, whether that's putting the ball in Evan Mobley's hands in crunch time more, letting Darius, even though he does a lot, facilitate and run the show in crunch time, or tinkering with different lineups in crunch time. Like, try it out. Try three guards of Lonzo, Donovan, Darius with DeAndre Hunter and Evan Mobley out there. Try that lineup, even if it's undersized at times and maybe gets beat by the Magic in January. Who cares? I think in the long run that will help a lot, and it will only prepare the Cavs when they will need those guys to step up, whether it's a Darius Garland or an Evan Mobley, or they will need a different lineup in the playoffs at a certain time that if they didn't go to it enough in the regular season when it matters, how can you feel comfortable running that lineup out there when everything's on the line? So I'm hoping that the Cavs do approach the regular season more with the mindset of let's prep every game for the playoffs and for down the road, and let's do things we might not be super comfortable with now because they'll help when we do need that the most. So, yeah, that's just kind of a quick synopsis of today's media day. We'll, like I said, have a bunch more to talk about when it comes to today's media day. But I really feel like Thomas Bryant kind of, even though he only had a 6, 7 minutes with the media officially, he kind of stole the show with, excuse me, his demeanor, the way he approaches the game, the team first player that he clearly is. And he's got me even more excited for this season. Also, hearing Darius is so close to coming back. Oh, yeah, the last thing, Max is not so close, still in a walking boot. But that's okay. Take your time, Max. We will hold it down without you. And I will hold it down every single day for you guys here at Cavs Daily with a new episode. I hope you will join me for most of those, if not all of them. And until I'm back tomorrow, I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.